Armen and Levack, 104.5 The Team. Ryan O'Halloran of the Florida Times-Union previewing Jets-Jags this Sunday. Ryan, how important of a game is this for the Jaguars?
Pretty big game. Granted, it's not a division game, but they're 2-5, and in the AFC South, that means you're right in it. And if you're the Jags, you're coming off a win over Buffalo. You've had the bye week to rest up and get healthy. And then you look at the rest of the division. Tennessee just fired its coach. Houston's in disarray, and Indianapolis collapsing. So if they can find a way to win their first true road game in nearly 2 years on Sunday, they can honestly say they're in pretty decent shape.
Is there any vibe in Jacksonville that, all right, so the Jets were embarrassed by Oakland. Now we're a little concerned they're going to come out and, be a little bit more fired up?
Well, that is a concern for them, and it should be, because the Jaguars can speak firsthand to that. They were embarrassed by New England in Week 3 and came back and played better in Indianapolis the next week and basically gave away the game in overtime. So, they see that the Jets were missing tackles left and right and not running it, not stopping the run. So they know those are going to be some things that New York focuses on for Sunday. So they expect a pretty good punch from the Jets because, New York doesn't want to be a 3-game losing streak either.
Ryan O'Halloran of the Florida Times-Union. Is Blake Bortles finally the answer at quarterback for Jacksonville?
I think he is. He's definitely better than Blaine Gabbert, and Chad Henne is one of the top number 2 guys in the league, but he's a number 2, not a number 1. So I think Blake has shown very good form in most games. He has 3 pick-sixes, which have obviously hurt the cause, but he's on pace to throw nearly 30 touchdowns, and he has 2 receivers in Allen Robinson and Allen Hurns who are both on pace for 1,000 yards apiece. So, for the first time in a couple of years here in Jacksonville, the offense is functional and actually interesting to watch.
I have to ask this question because we are your home for the New York Jets. Has there any kind of news out of John Idzik, former GM of the Jets, now the special assistant to the GM of the Jags? Is he received well? Does he have any impact on the team?
Let's put it this way. This is my 4th year covering the team, and this is the first time I've had an interview request denied because he is staying in the background. He hasn't done an interview since he was hired in March, and where they really brought John in as to construct contracts for free agency. That's his specialty. It's not personnel. So when he came in here in March, he really helped them design some deals to help them manage their cap space, which they still have a ton of. So he's sort of a floating consultant on this team, but he's not somebody who's involved with the 53-man roster.
Ryan O'Halloran of the Florida Times-Union, great scoop on John Idzik. You can only imagine Jets fan thinks he's a floating jackass. So, but that's just from the Jets' perspective of last year.
Yeah, that was your phrase and not mine.
Ryan O'Halloran, Florida Times-Union. All right, Ryan, what's the matchup of Jets hosting the Jaguars 1 o'clock on Sunday that we should keep an eye on?
This is a secondary with the Jaguars. They're the only one in the league without an interception. I would expect Brandon Marshall to have a big day. The Jaguars haven't announced who their second corner is going to be between House, McCray, and Gratz. I think it's going to be Demont House. But from the Jets, I expect the Jaguars to give a 4-man pass rush, which has been impotent this year, and maybe pitching, catching a little bit while trying to get Chris Ivory going. So that side, Marshall against the corners. Flip it when the Jaguars have the ball is, what does Revis do? Did he follow Allen Robinson all over the field? Did he stay on his side? So big challenge for these secondary receivers, Robinson and Hurns, going against Revis and Cromartie.
Ryan O'Halloran, Florida Times-Union, covers the Jags. Ryan, safe travels to New York this weekend. We'll keep an eye on your Twitter, @Ryan O'Halloran. Thanks so much for your time, man.
All right, thanks, guys.